A spotting scope is not very helpful without the right support system. In this video, I'm going to talk about the Creedmoor Sports Polecat V2 spotting scope stand. Gavin, you here from UltimateReloader.com. I just got this Athlon Ares 15 to 45 by 56 spotting scope. You're going to want to check out the video that I published on that. Now I've got to think about the different support systems that I'm going to use for this spotting scope when friends are spotting for me, when I'm shooting by myself at the concrete shooting bench, and when I'm shooting by myself shooting prone. And that, the last situation, shooting prone, is where the Polecat V2 comes in handy. This is a spotting scope support system that is going to help you position your spotting scope so that you have good ergonomics and you have quick acquisition through the spotting scope to see the targets that you've either hit or miss or are about to hit or miss. So let's get some of the components and pieces here out of their bags, and then I'll take a look at setup. So this is a 1-inch system, meaning the main rod here is 1 inch in diameter, 1 inch in diameter, and that means it's going to be really rigid and it's going to do a really good job supporting the spotting scope that we're using. Now, the spotting scope is typically hung inverted, which is kind of an interesting scenario. But it's all about getting the spotting scope, which for a lot of the prone shooting or even bench shooting, when you've got your spotting scope next to your rifle, will involve a spotting scope with an angled eyepiece. I went with the straight eyepiece here initially because I did want to have a good setup for PRS spotting and those types of scenarios. I will likely get a spotting scope like this with an angled eyepiece so that I can have better ergonomics when it comes to these types of scenarios. More on that when we go out to the field. So these legs fold down, and then we're going to continue folding them when they're initially out of the way. And we can see here we have a nice wide base, and then we also have this thumb screw where if we're on sloped terrain, we can get the scope vertical, bring this thumb screw down. I'll get this around so that you can see that. And then that leg won't be able to extend beyond that position. So you'll always point this leg in the downhill direction if you've got uneven ground, and then go from there. We can extend this with these two additional poles here, and then we have this fail-safe. This is essentially a stop in case you loosen the support arm for the spotting scope and it falls, slips out of your hand. This rubber O-ring here, that's going to keep things from getting damaged. Provides a little bit of a cushion in a falling scenario. So I have not even had this out of the box yet. This is literally my first time taking a look at this, and you can see how intuitive this is. I did watch one of the Creedmoor Sports videos to get a good sense of things, but that's about all there is right there. So we can place it on either side, and we're going to be able to spot from either direction, whatever works best for you, and whatever is going to work with the ergonomics of your particular shooting setup and shooting scenario. I'll also note that I've got this nice Creedmoor Sports carrying bag that's going to keep it protected. It's got the handles as you're walking out to the firing line, makes it easy to transport, that kind of thing. So this is totally a top quality piece of gear. Why don't we head out to the range, and I'm going to do some prone shooting with it. So here I am at the range. We're getting ready to get set up, and I'm just going to get the Polecat out of the case, go through this range setup process, which will be abbreviated, of course, compared to the initial assembly. Just like that. And let's see. I'm going to try it this way to start. Okay, now we're ready to get the rest of the gear out and start shooting. So here I am at one of the Ultimate Reloader 100-yard ranges. I thought this would be a great place to get things dialed in. I've got my handy 6-dasher rifle. I'm getting ready for a PRS competition and thought I'd take a few shots to see where things are at. And you can see here I've got the Polecat set up with the Athlon Aries spotting scope. It's hard to see in the camera, I'm sure, but the ground is sloping a little bit this way. So I've got that corresponding adjustment leg here, and I've got the set screw set. The pole is nice and level. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a couple shots. And now I can just come right over here to see where I'm at with things. Things look pretty good. I actually have a little bit of windage correction to do there. So it gives you an idea of the kind of versatility that you'll have. Now, if I had the angled eyepiece, I would just have that eyepiece angled right towards myself so that when I took my eye off the scope, I could just turn my head to the side and look straight into the angled eyepiece and down at the 100-yard target that I'm shooting on here. I did also want to show you one more scenario with this Polecat. So what about standing behind the Polecat? Well, these optional extensions are going to provide us just that capability. And all we need to do is take off this knurled cap and then screw each of the extensions in. And that's going to greatly increase the versatility of this Polecat. As I mentioned, I'm spotting for other people, and I might be sitting in a chair, I might be standing while I'm spotting people's hits and misses during a PRS match, for example. And with this particular system, we're going to be able to do that. So I'm actually going to move this over, move this to the side to get just the right height for myself. And then I can, oh, it looks like I was just about on the target already. Set my focus, there we go. Now I can stand behind my spotting scope, and if I'm sitting, I'd be somewhere in the mid position. So gives you an idea of the versatility of this particular system. Again, if you want to know more about it, the carrying case, the extension poles, this Polecat V2 system itself, click on that first link in the video description and it'll take you where you need to go. I'll also mention that I'm just trying out for the first time this quad mat that Creedmoor Sports also makes. This is actually more for sling prone shooting or what have you. I'm going to have another one made with a cutout for my rear bag when I'm using something like a formal rear shooting bag. So more on that in a little bit. I'll also have a link to a full article that gives you more information, a more link to separate product pages. Again, links in the video description. I hope you enjoyed this video. You're going to see this gear in a bunch of the videos I have coming up. If you did like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to discuss scope stands, if you'd like to discuss the type of spotting scope scenarios that you're using and working on, please drop a comment and we'll start a discussion. Again, got a lot more related content coming up, so make sure that you're subscribed with notifications. Got shirts at the Ultimate Reloader store. I'm on Patreon. Links in the video description. Thanks for watching. Until next time, happy shooting and happy reloading.